Imagine that you've been in a car accident. A police officer responds to the scene and asks to see your phone. Do you have to hand it over? If you live in New York and the proposed legislation known as Evans Law passes, you will. State Senator Terrence filed the act back in January, and a company called Cellebrite is developing a device that police could use to enforce the law. Here's how it would work. A police officer comes to the scene of an accident and suspects that at least one person may have been distracted by a personal electronic device. Connecting Cellebrite's gadget to each person's phone in turn, the officer can see if anyone had been using their phone immediately before the accident. According to the proposed legislation, the device wouldn't record or analyze what the phone was doing, it would just log that an activity had taken place. And since it's illegal in New York to operate a personal electronic device while driving, this information could lead to an arrest. It's sort of like the smartphone equivalent of a breathalyzer test. The act argues that each driver has given implied consent to hand over a device, just as they have given implied consent for a breathalyzer test if an officer requests it in New York State. So, what happens if you refuse to hand over your phone? The state suspends your driver's license for at least a year, unless you've refused to hand over your phone before. Then it's a minimum of 18 months. Plus, you may face a fine of $500 for the first offense or $750 for subsequent cases. This is in addition to any other legal action taken against you due to the accident itself. Senator Murphy argues that since the Cellebrite device doesn't access your data, it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment, guaranteeing protection against illegal search and seizure. There are lots of questions left to answer. Will the Cellebrite device be able to determine if the phone was being used in hands-free mode? In New York, it's legal to operate personal electronic devices if you aren't holding them in your hand. And since Cellebrite's other major products can scrape a phone for data and activity, some people are concerned that this law could lead to more invasive searches in the future. It's important to remember that distracted driving is a legitimate problem. According to the CDC, about 18% of all crashes in which someone was injured also involved distracted driving. And according to Senator Murphy, 67% of drivers admit to using their cell phones while driving despite knowing the dangers involved. But is this the right way to solve that problem? Should we just wait around for driverless cars? What are your thoughts? Get in touch with us and let us know. And don't forget to check back at now.howstuffworks.com every day for more of the most interesting stories happening right now.